Did you look up the actor's name?
Oh,
Ugly Betty. Manny
yeah.
Calavera.
I'm on it.
He also is
I did fuck that up. Yeah, too good Breaking Bad. I'm actually kind of embarrassed.
He's in Born in East LA. He's in the jail cell next to Cheech.
Oh,
hanging upside down.
I should know his name.
He is in so many things that I forgot he was in. Guess what was on the other day? That he is
Tony Plana.
Guess what what was on the other day?
What?
That he's a main character in.
What?
The Three Amigos. One of my favorite
really?
movies of all time growing
up.
His
voice is iconic.
Yeah.
You keep in mind that when I watched Ugly Betty, I'd already played Manny Calavera. Uh-huh. So I'm watching that whole show like, Manny? Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He plays El Jefe in Three Amigos. Have you ever seen Three Amigos?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
That's one of my favorite movies as a kid growing up. I used to watch it all the time. Those three guys together should have done more together. Mm-hmm. Talking about Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. They should have done so much more together.
I mean, Steve Martin and Martin Short did
stuff. But yeah, I mean, those three together, man, like, that movie is so good. It is so funny, and it's one of the few movies that I've revisited recently that still holds up. To where, in my mind, like, when they do the whole fucking salute, and I still remember the entire thing and was doing it while they were doing it like I was a little kid again.
Yeah.
But he's in that movie, Tony Plana, and is fucking amazing as El Jefe.
I love Tony Plana, man.
It's just so funny how iconic he has been without me really knowing it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, he's the one in the cell next to Cheech in Born in East LA that's hanging
upside
you're right.
down. Dude, can you just, like... My girlfriend wanted to watch Ugly Betty, and so
such a great show.
I'm watching Ugly Betty, and then the moment he pops on the screen, like, because I've never seen the face to the voice, but I hear his voice, and I'm just like instantly, I'm like, Manny, you know what I mean? Immediately, I'm
Manny,
like, yeah, hey Manny, but yeah, like honestly, like it was such a trip to watch that show, and then I'm like, I recognize that voice from Grim Fandango,
and then he is also on Mayans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
And it was so cool to see him on that show because he's playing a complete different character than he's ever played. Mm. And you need to watch that first season, dude.
I know. I need to try. I still need to.
Even though when I talked about it, I seemed really down on it.
Yeah.
It's only because I didn't care as much about the characters as I did right out of the gate on Sons.
Right.
And like that's hard to do. Like. You find lightning in a bottle. Like Entourage, right out of the gate, I fell in love with that show. Sons of Anarchy, right out of the gate, I fell in love with that show. And like, you can't fall in love with every fucking show, even if it's by the same creators, writers, producers. Like, it could be the same exact team, but it just doesn't hit you the same way.
Yeah.
And I have since read some interviews with Kurt Sutter where he talks about how he didn't want this just to get stuck in the rut of being a Sons of Anarchy spinoff, and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, I feel like he shortchanged his characters that he was writing because he didn't want to make them specific archetypes and make people think, oh, this is this show's Jax, and this is this show's Chibs, and this is this show's this. Like, I can totally respect and understand that, but I think he shortchanged a lot of his characters by purposely going a different way. But I really think you should watch that show.
I would check it out. I feel like I'd want to watch Sons first, and I still like the idea, though. I know, but I still like the idea.
Well, you can't watch Sons now unless you watch it on FX Now, because they removed all the FX stuff off of Netflix.
I'm still good.
I still think it's bullshit, though.
It is bullshit, but I'm still good.
But yeah.
I still like the idea.
I think...
Are you going to revisit?
Yeah.
Because you seem like you were into it. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I did. But, you know... So Rick will cut, I'm sure, when we stop talking about La Llorona. And this doesn't have to be a clip.
This is for
Twitch. This is Twitch exclusive or audio exclusive. But yeah, so like here's the problem that I have. Yeah, here's the problem I have with Breaking Bad. And I guess it's a problem, but when episodes end and it's because of and I know a lot of people didn't jump on Breaking Bad until like season 3-ish. Or halfway through season 2, season 3, when everybody was like, this is the show! Because...
It kind of was until it got on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, he brought an actual opener. So, like, I understand why people didn't get... Maybe the writing changed further in, but they all feel self-contained. Like, when I finish an episode of Breaking Bad, I don't feel the urge to continue
You gotta
because
keep
of
going.
you know what I'm saying though.
And
They wrap and they don't necessarily wrap up all the threads in one episode, but when that pilot ended, I didn't feel like I needed to watch anymore because it ended so satisfyingly. You know what I'm talking about. You remember the pilot, right? Oh, Bryce Stone gang signs. You remember the pilot ended, right? Where he comes home.
So.
He comes home.
Go ahead.
And
it's been over. Like, just go for it.
I know, but I want to try and say this in a not crude way. Because you remember what happens at the end of the pilot with him and his wife when he comes home. So he finds in the pilot he finds out he has lung cancer. He starts this meth thing with Jesse Pinkman, and then he has this ordeal where he thinks he killed people. People are dead. They run away from the fucking Winnebago. He comes home, and he has sex with his wife. But he just goes.
Yeah.
And like it's the most awkward way to end that episode. But at the same time, because of how she treated him like shit throughout that entire episode. And you root for Walter White the whole time because of the way his family is treating them. I love the character of his son. I love everything about that show. Writing, his son, the wife, the brother-in-law, like all this stuff is like shit that I'm way into.
Oh, Mike, you gotta keep going.
But I don't keep going because when I finish the episode, I feel a release, and it's really good writing.
Yeah.
And it's good storytelling because I don't. And I know this was a weekly show, and it was like 13 episode seasons, and it was like the short season bullshit, and you had to wait a year for it to come back out.
Yeah.
But the way they wrote it with that in mind.
Yeah.
They wrote it to where people weren't like, oh my God, I need more. But they wrote it in a way to where people were like, I want more. So please give me more.
Yeah.
It was at a time where people would sit back and go, yeah, I can wait. And now I feel like everything is written to be bingeable, which I think is shitty for television and storytelling. I like it as a consumer, but I hate that everything is written to be bingeable because I never feel like there's any resolution at the end of anything nowadays.
Yeah. There's a difference between like being left wanting more and it being written. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how to express it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm telling you, like it's been a while since I watched that first season. It
so
does
good.
get to a point to where you're like,
God,
because here's my
end of the episode. I think it's like the 4th episode or 5th episode where he runs into that dude again that he ran into at the fucking bank.
Yeah.
And he fucking blows his car up at the gas station and walks away. Like when that ended, I was like, I'm good, Walter White. I don't need to ever see another episode because you feel so much satisfaction.
Yeah, dude.
At the end of every episode.
Yeah, that show does some stuff to you, but like being somebody who
I know you know
on
where
Netflix,
it goes.
On Netflix. That's where I watched it. And so I was someone that was able to watch back to back to back to back, that when I finally got caught up and I was reduced to being a plebe that had to wait week to week for a new episode, it does get there.
Yeah.
So you got to get there, but man, like I don't know, it's crazy. And
I don't feel the pull to like, oh my God, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
It is.
Because I'm not talking negatively about the show.
It is.
But I don't feel like I feel like so much happens and they wrap things up so well. And at this point it's fucking comical because it's been months since I watched the last episode that I watched.
Oh yeah.
But I feel closure, and then I feel like I need to let that shit marinate.
You're due though, man.
I am due. But
I hear you. There's
I turn on my PlayStation.
I am. Or your Switch. But yeah, there's a lot of moments in that show.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. There's a lot of moments in that show where you're just kind of like that make you feel like fucking A, man. Like I don't know.
This is such a good beer.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, it is a good beer.
Sorry.
But yeah, the timing was incredible. There's moments in that show where it just makes you say, God, that's a good beer.
Okay, so with Sons of Anarchy, they kind of did the same thing. Like, they made seasons to where they made cliffhangers. Like, the way they did seasons were like, they would have a finality in the middle of the season, and then at the end of the season, a new threat had emerged, and new shit was going on, and you were like, oh my god, I need to know where this goes. So they did a good job of overlapping stories to where you wanted more. And I don't think that, like, and that's a great way to write TV now. And that's also super innovative for the time that Sons of Anarchy came out, because it was before everything was bingeable. But yeah, with Breaking Bad, like, they have a story they're trying to tell you. They tell you the story, and then you feel good about it at the end, whether something good happens or something bad happens or whatever. Like, it's just...
I get what you mean.
It's not hard to continue wanting to watch, but, like, it's like, oh shit, I need to think about this for a little bit before I continue.
No, I get what you mean, but it does build though, because like I don't want to say it took me a bit, but in some ways, like after getting a few episodes under my belt, suddenly I realized I'm like, man, this show is fucking really good. Like, it took a bit.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it from the start, but it did take a bit. And Vince Gilligan, I mean, Rick doesn't say much about it, but Rick fucking loved it. Like, we recorded a podcast. He loved that show too.
I know.
And both of us were on board of getting like the big box set with all the stuff.
I listened
Rick liked the
to bits
writing
and pieces of that show,
yeah.
Only because I didn't listen to it in full, because I didn't want things spoiled for me.
No, yeah. But like Rick, you know, a lot of stuff that came with like the big complete season set had a lot of like stuff with Vince Gilligan and his writing process, and I know that really spoke to Rick. But just in general, I mean, as someone that's also watching Better Call Saul, man, like, Vince Gilligan is fucking brilliant. Fucking Saul Goodman is kind of like, almost kind of like the comic relief in that show. Like, when there is comedy in that show.
Yeah.
And Better Call Saul is like this intrigue, like, he's taken the comic relief secondary character, and some people even think that show's better than Breaking Bad. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far, but it's up there, man. And I have a lot of faith in Vince Gilligan, and like, I didn't put it in the news. I shared it with Rick just because I didn't think there was much of a story there. But they are doing a Breaking Bad movie. I don't want to say what it's about, but it's gonna be like, no, they haven't really said how it'd be released, but that it'd probably be on AMC. But the story that came out this week, and this is just kind of goes back to when we were talking about Netflix a little bit and them raising their prices and all that stuff, is Netflix gets first crack. That movie is going to be on Netflix before AMC. So that's huge.
And to your point, a lot of people came to that show because of Netflix.
And that's kind of why. And that's how I came to that show too. So it's very interesting though. But I didn't include that because like I don't think there's a story
drunk,
there.
Everybody, look at him.
Oh no, I'm looking for the episode of Breaking Bad that we talked about so I can put it in the chat.
Oh.
You'll find it.
Rick, you guys talked about the entire final season.
We talked about, because it ended and it was like,
yeah,
we talked, it'll be on there. I'm sure. You found it?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. God, man, that was a while ago.
That was some.
Do you have a date? What's the date?
10/4/13.
Wow. All right.
That was an episode of TV's Now On.
Yeah. I feel like that show slowly became you and me.
Yeah,
more than it became you and Michael.
Yeah, it totally was.
All right. Should we,
do we have another trailer?
We've got more stuff.
Yeah, more stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.